Greetings to baristas. First of all, my apologies to those who may have been leaving comments on my videos, my channel page, or may have been sending me personal messages on the tube. Google, in one of its many free market reforms, has made it so that I cannot respond to or leave comments of my own. This may be linked to my still using Windows XP as my browser, or maybe not. Anyway, the tube has pretty well been ended as a social medium for me. That won't stop me from periodically continuing to upload new videos as I find the time, and I still welcome your comments and brickbats. Feel free to drop them as you have in the past. Anyway, onwards and upwards to baristas. As you know, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer has vetoed Arizona Senate Bill 1062 that would have allowed businesses to refuse service to gays based on the rights of religious freedom. That does not mean this movement has been stopped. The United States of Georgia, not the ex-Soviet one, mind you, has before it its House Bill 1023, also called a Preservation of Religious Freedom Act, which is also defending the right to publicly discriminate in favor of protecting private faith. Other states, from Mississippi to Kansas to the far west, are mulling over the same notions, spurred by Tea Party-type activists. All this seems derived from that unwritten but very real 11th freedom of the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution, the freedom to hate. Of course, it long predated the rise of the GOP's Bolshevik wing to power. But their ascendancy has emboldened them to attack the most fundamental reforms of the post-World War II era, beginning with voting rights, now attempting to roll back anti-discrimination laws, and tomorrow, who knows, taking votes away from women because the female franchise is also anti-biblical, as St. Paul said in the New Testament's book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14, verse 34, "Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law." And what is mandatory in the churches must obviously also be mandatory in society at large as well, in the name of protecting the rights of faith, if we agree with the premise. When this stuff finally goes before the Supreme Court, as it undoubtedly will ere long, one cogent argument against it has to be the unending extension of the right to discriminate based on this definition of religious freedom. If today I don't want to serve queers, then tomorrow I won't have to serve Jehovah's Witnesses, and the day after that I won't have to serve Muslims, because these people also offended my fundamental Christian values. Orthodox Jewish jewelers will have the right to not sell diamonds to Muslims or Christians, and their marriages will thus be unconsummated. So, if the Supreme Court has a rational brain cell left in its collective head, a supposition growing increasingly doubtful, it will have to strike down this resurgence of medieval legislation simply for the unending, one-on-one civil conflicts it's going to generate nationwide. The rights of citizens to equal and fair treatment in public service and accommodation has gone too far to be put back in the bottle of the 19th century world these people are trying to reconstruct, if only because the elite themselves benefit from this freedom. You can crush unions, return the economy to the oligarchy of historic Marxist capitalism, but deprive a rich gay man of his right to shop freely, and all hell will break loose. For once, the social inequities of life in the USA will stop those seeking to strangle social freedom. What's also ironic in this is that we just had a movement, greatly led by U.S. groups, to boycott the Sochi Olympics over Russia's anti-gay laws. As usual, whenever the West tries preaching at lesser nations and races, its own hypocrisy comes squirting liquid shit right in its own eye. But this boomerang effect also has its positive side. Civil rights legislation in the U.S. was in large measure an outgrowth of the Cold War. How could the U.S. lead the free world, stand tall before the third world, and lecture the commies on democracy when its own citizens couldn't find a public place to pee based on the color of their skin? The need to square its own circle in order to throw stones at other people's glass houses will also help keep this resurgent American neo-fascism in line. That doesn't mean we won't be a nasty struggle ahead for affected folks, gays, Muslims, or anyone else on the U.S. Christian rights Schindler's shit list. Unlike patriotism, religion is the first refuge of scoundrels, and religious freedom is the first weapon of despots. The forces of evil are ever active in their quest to suppress human dignity, and what... Hello, YouTube line. Who is this? Jesus Christ. Oh, it is you. You want to speak on this issue of judge not lest you be judged? Wait a minute. Why should I let you poke yourself into my video? Didn't you live with your mom until you were 30? And when you left home, it wasn't to get married to some nice Jewish girl and settle down in the profession you'd been trained for? No. You went off to go live with 12 other guys in the desert, washing each other's feet in bathhouses, winding it up in Italian Renaissance supper clubs. Sounds awful goddamn gay to me. Get lost.